Welcome to our Hacker Academy Masterclass. Today is our first lesson, and the first thing that we must do is to download the RAR file that I gave you in my Patreon post. After downloading it, let's extract it. So for me, here's my Machine001. Then I will extract it using 7-zip. And it will ask you for a password. So the password for this is just Hacker Academy 053787. So capital H, capital A. Then OK. Then it will be extracted. And we will get the OVA file. So that we will just import it here in our VirtualBox Manager. So click File, Import Appliance, click this, and find your extracted folder, Machine001, and choose this OVA file. Then next, then uncheck the network adapter, then import. Then after that, go to the settings, network, and enable the network adapter. Because if there's no network adapter, then we cannot connect to this machine. Then click start. While opening this machine 1, let's open now our hacking machine, which is the Ninja. Just click this, our password, you can change the password for this if you are having hard time in typing that kind of password. So as you can see in my Kali box, the Ninja, it's like this. So you can change it in the settings, the display, for you to have a larger screen resolution. So in the display, then I just choose this 1680 to 1050. So you can choose yours, depends on your monitor. So okay, as you can see, our Machine001 is ready. Welcome to Machine 1. This will be the easiest machine you will encounter. Yes, this will be the easiest machine that you will encounter. So, the first thing that we need to do in hacking a machine is to know what are the open ports inside that machine. Okay? Why? So, for example, we have this computer. Okay. Then, in every computer, whether it is smartphone, desktop, laptop, server, whatever it is, it has an open port or it has ports because it needs to be connected, whether it is connecting to the internet or to another machine or whatever connection that it may have. In every device, it is very important for them to have a connection. And for them to have a connection, they need to have an open port. So in this machine, we will find all of the open ports or the holes inside this machine. And for us, the hacker, our goal is to find these open ports so that we can assess if we can break the hole or we can hack our way in to that open port. So that's our goal here. And in every devices, we have these two kinds of user. The user and the root. The user has a limited access in that device. It cannot do everything within the device, unlike the root. The root can do everything within the machine. It's like the administrator or the God mode in that machine. Our goal in every machine, of course, is to hack this root, okay? So that we can have a full access in that machine, okay? When a machine has a user that has a limited access, then probably when we hack that machine, all we have is this thing, the user. Okay? So after that, we will perform the what they call privilege escalation in order for us to gain root from user to root. Okay? But today, we will hack a machine that when we hack this machine, we're gonna have a root access immediately. So that's what you call the boot to root machine. Okay? So if you have a question, you can leave it down the comment. Okay, let's jump into the hands-on. So the first thing that we need to do is to open this terminal. This terminal is the terminator. The advantage here in the terminator is you can split it just like this, unlike the normal terminal in the Kali. We will now identify first what is the IP address of our target. So in here, we will use NetDiscover in order to identify all of the IP addresses of all the machines within the network. So in order for us to use NetDiscover, we need first to know what is the network interface that we are using and what is the IP address that we are using. So type ifconfig. As you can see here, this is my IP address and it is using a network interface called ETH0. Why do we need that? It is needed in the commands for the NetDiscover. So in order for us to use NetDiscover, we just need to type NetDiscover, then choose an interface using -i option, then the network interface that we have. Then press enter. Okay, so when you see this, you must be root to run this, and if you saw some permission denied in your command, it means that you need to run it as root. So for us to run our command as root, we just need to add sudo before our command. So just like this, sudo, then netdiscover -i, then eth0. Then after that, just enter. Then type your password. Then enter. I will stop this using Ctrl+C. As you can see here, there is this network device that is called PCS System Technique GmbH. So this kind of network device is the one that is being used by the VirtualBox manager in its machines. Technically, I am just running one machine except the Kali machine here in VirtualBox manager. By using common sense, it means that our machine 1 IP address is 192.168.1.24. So now, we already know what is the IP address of our target. Once we know the IP address of our target, then probably we can now start to discover the open ports within that machine. So all we need to do is to use what we call the nmap. This tool is one of the most popular tool in order for us to perform scanning of open ports. So in here, just type nmap, then the IP address of the target, and then add another option, which is dash, small letter s, and capital V. So what is the purpose of this option? The purpose of this option is for us to know what is the software running on that port. For us hackers, it is very important, because if that software is outdated, then probably we can have an idea how to hack it. That's one of the things that we can assess if we can really hack that port, that open port. So when we enter this, we will now discover the open ports within this machine and the software that is running on this machine. There we have it. So after that, what now? In order for us to strategize well when assessing this kind of result, we need to know what are the common ports or common vulnerable ports that we can assess first before going into the unfamiliar ports. Okay? So what are those common ports? So one of the most common ports is port 21, which is the FTP. This is used for transferring files. We also have this port 80, which is HTTP, and this port indicates that the machine has a website. We also have 443, which is also a website, but the difference is it is much more secure than the port 80. Then we also have the 139, 445 for the SMB, also for file sharing, and we also have port 23 for telnet. This is used for remote connection. We have also port 22 for a much more secure remote connection, secure than telnet. Then we also have this 3306 for MySQL, which is mostly used for database. Well, again guys, these ports can be changed by the administrator, but the important thing here is the service that is running. So the FTP, HTTP, HTTPS, SMB, SMB, Telnet, SSH, and MySQL. If you see this kind of services within the machine, then focus on these common ports first. So in our following lessons, I will teach you how to enumerate this kind of ports. So now, let's now assess the result. So as you can see here, we have common ports like port 21, port 22, port 23, port 80, the Samba, and the 3306. We also have services that is running in HTTP also, that is not within port 80 or 443. We also have another FTP service that is not running within port 21 but port 2121. That's what I am saying a while ago, that it can be changed by the network administrator. Now, let's go to the exploitation. In order for us to exploit this machine, we need to assess first one of the common ports, such as this, port 21. So how can we assess this? First is to connect to it. So how do we connect to a port? We can use this command to connect to the FTP of a machine. Much better than netcat. So let's type anonymous. What we are doing here is we are conducting an anonymous login. However, even if it is successful, it doesn't mean that we already have a user access inside the machine. So let's enter this. Then put any password that you think of. Then as you can see, login successful. Then if we type ls here, as you can see, there is nothing inside. So there's nothing inside. So technically this is useless. Another thing that we can do here is to examine the software that is running within the FTP. So the software that is running within the FTP service is what we call VSFTPD with the version 2.3.4. Okay, so for us hackers, we can use Google in order to research about this software. If there is an existing exploit for this kind of software version. So let's type in VSFTPD 2.3.4 exploit, then manual. Let's see. There is an existing exploit for VSFTPD 2.3.4 as you can see in here. But for us hackers, of course, we need to know how the exploit works, because we do not want you to become a script kiddie that is just running and executing commands that they do not know how it works in the background. So in here, let's study about the exploit. By reading this, as you can see here, if we add a smiling face after our username, then there will be an open port which is in 6200. And when we connect to this 6200 just like this, then we can have a root access to the machine. As you can read here, putting a smiling face is kind of activating a backdoor within the 6200 port. So let's do it. So FTP 192.168.1.24. Then let's type in Alexis. Then I will add smiling face here. Then enter. Then password. Anything that you want. Then Control Z. Then let's check the port 6200 if it is really open by using this command -p for port, then the IP address. It is now open. Okay, so let's connect to it using netcat 192.168.1.24, then the port which is 6200. Okay, connection refused. I think we need to be much faster. It is now closed. So this is the challenge here. I think we need to go faster. So FTP. Then directly connect to 6200. Then for us to check if we already have shell access, let's type in ID. And as you can see here, we are root. Type in pwd in order for us to know where are we inside our target machine. So we are in the highest directory, which is in the root folder. Who am I? Root. So we are already root. Now, what we need to do once we have this kind of shell access, as you can see here, we do not have this kind of terminal access. What we need to do is to spawn a terminal so that we can do a lot of things, because by having this kind of shell access, it is very limited. So let's spawn a terminal. Pentest monkey reverse shell. Let's click this. So as you can see here, there's a lot of reverse shell that we can use to spawn a terminal. And when executing a reverse shell, it needs to have a listener. So before executing a reverse shell, we need to have a listener. So to have a listener, make sure that the port of your listener is unfamiliar or not very used. So for example, nc-nvlp, then unfamiliar port such as 1234. Okay, so it will listen for any bash reverse shell. Okay, so inside the target machine, let us paste it, and let's change the 10.0.0.1 into our own IP address. So my IP address for the IP address of this hacker machine, let's split this. My IP address is 192.168.1.21. So don't worry guys, The reverse shell, I will tackle it again and again in our next lesson. So don't be scared about this reverse shell if you're confused. So that one, that 21. So in every reverse shell payload that we are executing, make sure that the IP in there is our IP and the port is the port in the listener. So the port in our listener is 1234. Okay, then let's enter this. Okay, no such file or directory. So let's use another one. I think we can use netcat. So let's copy this, the second one. Let's divide this. Nope, not this. And let's have a nano here where we can edit the payload. So I will change this into 192.168.1.21. Then 1234 is already okay. So let's copy this. And let's see if we still have access. Okay, we still have access. Then let's enter this. And tada! We already have a terminal here. And as you can see here, if we ID this, it is root .i hostname. It's our machine1. Okay, we can also ifconfig to verify if what we are hacking is really the target. So as you can see here, it's that 1.24. Okay, after that we are already root. Okay, so that's our first machine. I prepared a hands-on activity in our Patreon post. Kindly do that. And for our Elite Ninja and VIP Ninja, I will now ready the challenges and the Hack War challenge for this month. So stay tuned. Okay, see you on our next class.